Yes, we know the person who wrote this, Martin Kerr, and he is Canadian. He travels all around. We met him when we were in Los Angeles, and he has just come up so much, just like our beautiful Kyle, Kyle and Louise. Yeah, this whole idea of the way of the artist, and thank you for stimulating this idea for us for this week, because our whole idea this month is to grow up and grow up in consciousness and mature in our incredible thing that we call our consciousness. And we use the words a lot of times, we are one with everything. And I've been thinking lately, I just hope for myself, not even hope, I know for myself that I'm going to take these words that we use just so often and add a little bit more deeper meaning to them for me. Because I know that in our artist way, everything feels very different. And then we look around our world and we come up with duality and all the stuff that goes on, and we wonder what is really going on. And I was thinking this whole idea about being an artist. How many of you actually would go, somebody would say to you, so what do you do? I do blah, blah, blah. I'm an artist. Yeah. I think we probably do more now than we used to. I never thought of being an actor actually as being an artist. I thought I was an actor, and only people that were artists were the ones that had the paintbrush, and they're painting these, and maybe a little bit of the music. But now I have realized through this journey of being a spiritual director and going through Science of Mind for the last 25 years of my life, and really snuggling up to really what an artist is. I woke up this morning and I started painting my life. I got out of bed, I made some more choices, I thought of today, and I thought, what if our life was this just incredible canvas that we were painting moment to moment to moment? And I loved what Carol did, that we get to take this, and if I don't like it, then I can paint over it. I can start a new painting. I can start anything new artistically. And that is such a good feeling, because a lot of people, especially like in writing or whatever, they'll say, I'm feeling really stuck. And all I can see now is, well, just paint over it. And I loved the blank canvas. I said I haven't done it yet, but I want it in our home to have this blank canvas with gold, trimming, and have it, and they'll say, oh, that's interesting. What is that? Possibilities. We call it possibilities. That blank canvas is so many possibilities. And then I wouldn't do a really good talk unless I brought up art scars. I'm not bitter about them, just so you'll know. They were a childhood thing. Anybody ever have an art scar? Yeah. I remember bringing mine up to Carol while she was doing some painting, and she said, well, then you must paint. And I said, I have art scars for the last 40 years, 50 years of my life. And I realize that sometimes we use our art scars, nobody in this room, but I do. I use them as excuses because they don't even pertain anymore. Now, I understand that when I was a little boy sitting in 5th grade or 4th grade, and I saw all of those wonderful kids around me creating so beautifully. I remember this one time, like the dishwashing liquid comes in kind of a plastic, however it is now, but it kind of has a little shape to it. And they were making people out of them, putting the heads on the top of it, and they were just doing this. And I remember looking at these girls, because in those days, of course, only girls could be creative like that. Oh my goodness, programming. Anyway, so we have that, and I'm watching them put it together, and I'm watching this incredible masterpiece coming out of this. And mine looked like, I'm not going to judge it, but it didn't look very good. I just stuck the head on. I didn't know because I wasn't involved with it. I was doing the outside, but not letting it live from the inside. And to me, that's what any kind of creativity. And I really thought that when I woke up this morning, because I thought, there's that inner critic. Do you know who that is? Have you ever met them? They're a blast at parties, aren't they? Yeah, they go in and they say, you know, you're not as good. They do the comparison. They do all of that. But as I continue to evolve, I'm realizing that there's a real bohemian side to Patrick that I'm yet to explore. And we were discussing this, I think, somewhere over in your little artistry world. And I've been hooked on this idea of bohemian. And I looked it up and it said, the bohemian lifestyle is free-spirited, unconventional way of living that values creativity, authenticity, and inner freedom over material wealth or societal expectations. It is a path often embraced by artists, dreamers, seekers, and rebels. Ha ha! Those who dance to the rhythm of their own truth. That's where I want to be. Yeah? Yeah, it's fun there, right? And I was thinking because I remember, does anybody remember the musical Godspell? Oh, they're running around and they're singing and they're doing. So when I would audition, I auditioned for it. And the director said, you know, I love the other stuff that you've done, but you're just not a Godspell type. Excuse me? You're a little too, now this is high school, everyone. You're a little too conservative. Meaning that I didn't have the let loose spirit of Godspell. And you know what? They might have been right at that time. Inside, I was Godspell. On the outside, I was still trying to please everybody. So what I was doing was I would be over with you and want to be the bohemian, but then I was over here and wanted to be whatever you would do. And I wanted to be a part of it all, which wasn't a bad thing. But then, we really, right? You want to be a part of it all, but then you have to finally get to the, it is a path of embraced by artists, dreamers, seekers, and rebels, those who dance to the rhythm of their own truth. And I think that's where at least I am in my life right now. The dance has come finally where they say, what is your own truth? And what is my own truth, especially in this teaching and where I'm at in my life? That this thing that we call spirit, this thing that we call the power, this thing that we call all one, all of the things that now is coming from the inside out. And I ask, what is mine to do? What is mine to do in times like this? Or in just today, what is mine to do? And I got the answer, be yourself. Be the rebel that you are. And be a rebel with a cause. Not a rebel without a cause. Even though I love James Dean, by the way. So here's my invitation to all of you. I wrote this out so that I would not forget to say it. Incredible time in our life. I believe this is an opportunity. Not everyone I talk to believes that, but I do. This is an opportunity to think beyond the box, and if I'm in a box, get out of it. And it's a time to say what I believe is that I am love, I am power, and I'm not afraid to go first to show it. And this is a time I believe that we are being asked this. And so here's my invitation to you. Pick up your brush again. Not to be perfect, not to impress, but to express who you truly are. Let me say it again. Pick up our brush again, not to be perfect, not to impress, but to express our God self, to reveal the masterpiece already within you. Create your life with intention. Turn pain into poetry. You know you love it. There's nothing. I met one that said, everything is going fine in our life, and I was like, but when I go, and then I went and my wretched soul came down into the gut, then you're like, oh my God. Did you hear that poem? And it was all about disaster. But within the pain is where the true artist rises up and says, I see that, I see that, I see that, I'm scared. And then you say, pick up your brush again. It says, the world doesn't need more critics. There's a lot of critics going around these days. The world doesn't need more critics, my friends. We need more creators. And our time has come. You ready?
Yes, ready.
Well, then let me hear it with gusto. Here's my mantra for you. I am a masterpiece. I am a masterpiece. Let them hear it in Hoi Poo. I am a masterpiece. All right, and so it is.